Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, we will learn about databases. In Exchange Server, database is a collection of mailboxes where the mailboxes are created and stored. And this database is again stored as a .adb file in the system. Let's go to our Exchange Server, open PowerShell as administrator. By default, all the Exchange servers will have one default database. To see that, we can use get mailbox database. As you can see, we have one database with the name mailbox database. So we can also use get mailbox database and pipe it to get mailbox to see all the mailboxes which are stored on this particular database. As you can see, we have only one database and all the mailboxes in our Exchange server are stored in the same database. So let's go to ECP and check the same. As you can see, we have 23 user mailboxes. And if we go to shared, we can see we have few shared mailboxes here. And we can also see some groups which are created as dynamic distribution group and distribution group and mail enabled security groups. So let's go to servers. We have only one Exchange 2013 server and go to database. As you see, this is the only database which we have and all the mailboxes are stored on this database. The problem with this database is it is having random numbers and this name is not easy for us to remember. So let's create a database, give the database name, which is going to be db01 and click on browse to select the server. This will be our Exchange server and we have only one. Select this and click OK. This will be stored in the Exchange installation folder and the database file extension is .adb, and you can also see log folder path. So this is also saved in the same Exchange installation folder, and this is going to be stored as db01 folder. Leave this as mount this database and click on save. As you see, it is warning us to restart the information store. Let's click OK. So the database with the name db01 has been created and it is active and mounted here. So let's go to the services and restart information store. Let's minimize this and go back to ECP. As you can see, this database is mounted. So let's go to PowerShell and do get mailbox database now. So we have two databases now. So let's do the get mailbox database and give the name db01. And we can see only one database with this command, and let's pipe it to get mailbox to see how many mailboxes are hosted on this particular database. As you see, we do not have any mailbox hosted on this database as of now, and all the mailboxes are hosted on the default database itself. So let's go back to ECP now. We can delete this database by using this icon and click on yes. So this is warning us the database has been deleted. However, the files are still there in this folder path. So let's go to this folder path. As you see, there is a folder with the database name db01, and this is the database file, and these are the supporting files, and you can also see the .chk, which is recovery file. So all these files will be still there even after you delete the database. These files are no longer needed for us, so let's delete this. As of now, we have learned how to create databases and how to remove the databases using ECP. So this is how we will create databases on typical test labs. However, in the production environment, we will not create a database on the C drive. Instead, we will have its own hard disk dedicated for each databases, and we will have multiple copies of each databases on different servers. This is to make sure that we have a database available all the time, even if the database is corrupted or even the hard disk is corrupted. So let's say we have an issue with the OS. However, having the database on different disk or the different hard disk itself will avoid any issues with the OS corruptions or OS recovery. So we can still have access to the database, and we can just mount that hard disk on any other server and connect to the databases and mailboxes. So having multiple copies of this database in different Exchange servers will also increase the high availability on the Exchange services. As we know, we only have one Exchange server. We cannot create a DAG or the multiple server environment here. In the future videos, where we will introduce Exchange 2016, and we will have two different Exchange servers, and we will create a DAG, and we will also create multiple copies of the databases on each server, and we will try to run this environment as similar to the production environment. With the single server, let's try to standardize this process. To do that, let's create the root directories for the databases where the database will be stored. Go to PowerShell. So let's create two directories with the name Exchange Databases and Exchange Volumes. We will create four different databases. So let's create four different folders on the database folders. Let's check what we did on the File Explorer. As you see, we have created two folders, Exchange Databases and Exchange Volumes. So the Exchange Volumes is blank as of now. And in Exchange Databases, we have created four different folders with the name DB01, 02, 03, 04. Let's go to hypervisor and create some virtual hard disk to store our new databases. So click on New, click on Hard Disk. Let's skip this page, click on Next, select the VHDX, select Next, select Next, and you can name this hard disk as DB01 and click on Next, click on Next, click Finish. Let's create few more hard disk for DB02, 03, and 04 in the same way. We have created the virtual hard disk. Let's verify the same. Let's go to C drive, program data, and Microsoft Windows virtual hard disk. As you can see, all the four hard disks with the name DB01, 2, 3, 4 has been created. Let's mount this hard disk on the virtual machine. So this process is similar to attaching a physical hard disk on any server. However, we are doing it in a virtual environment. So let's go to settings and go to SCSI controller, select hard drive, click add, and browse to that hard disk. Select DB01 and click apply. In the same way, let's add hard disk for DB02, 03, and 4. As you can see now, we have a hard disk for OS, and we have hard disk for DB01, 02, and 03, 04 respectively. So let's click OK and go back to our Exchange server. So if you go to File Manager and go to this PC, you still do not see any hard disk here. This is because we need to initialize this hard disk from the computer management. To do that, let's right click on this PC and click on Manage. So in the Server Manager, go to Tools and click on Computer Management. Go to Disk Management here. As you can see here, all the disks have been added here and they are in the offline state. So let's add disk 1. To do that, let's make it online. Now the status is not initialized. Let's right click and initialize this disk. So with the default GPT partition table, click OK. Now the disk is online. Let's create a new simple volume. Click on next, click on next, and mount this on the volume folder. Let's go to Exchange Volumes and click on new folder. Let's name this as EX volume 01. Let's click OK and click on next. So this will be again EX volume 01. Click on next and finish to format this hard disk. So once this is done, let's go to our file explorer, go to C drive, go to Exchange Volumes. As you can see, there is a hard disk added here and there is nothing inside this hard disk. So if you go to properties of this and click on properties again, you can see this is having 127 GB of space. So let's cancel this and add the other hard disk in the same way. As you can see, we have added all 4 hard disks and they are healthy and mounted, and they are 100% free because we have not stored any data in this. Let's verify the same on File Explorer. We can see all 4 hard disks in the Exchange Volumes folder, and we have Exchange Databases here added as DB01020334. So let's mount this database folders on each particular hard disk. To do that, let's right click and change drive letter and paths. Select add. Click on mount in the following NTFS folder. Click on browse. Go to C drive, go to database, select DB01 and click OK. So now if you go back to DB01, this will be mounted on the Exchange volume, which is actually the hard disk which we just added with 127 GB of space. So let's do it for the other 3 databases. Once it is completed, let's validate the same. You can also see the icon of this folder has been changed and the size is already 127 GB. So now let's create databases using PowerShell and store the data in these folders. So let's clear the screen and create the database DB01. So we will use new mailbox database commandlet to create the database, and we will specify the database name and the server. We are also specifying the log folder path, which is Exchange database and DB0101 log. And we will also specify the EDB file path, which is again on the hard disk which we just added. And this is on the Exchange database folder. Let's hit enter. You see the same warning again here, which is informing us to restart the information store. We will just do it in few minutes. So let's go to File Explorer again and go to DB01 here. You can see DB and log folders have been created here. Let's open this. You see some folders here. However, the .edb file, which is related to database, is not yet created. Let's create other databases and restart the information store and come back to this folder again. I will be sharing all these commands on my website as well as on the video description. Please have a look. So let's go to services and restart information store. Let's go to PowerShell again and to get mailbox database. So let's do it for DB01 and pipe it to FL to see all the properties of this database. So as you can see, the log folder path is this one. It is stored in Exchange databases and DB01 folder. You can also verify EDB file path is Exchange databases, DB01, and this is where the files will be stored. So far, we have learned how to create databases using ECP and PowerShell, and we have also learned how to mount these databases on different hard disks to store the mailbox data safely, even in case of OS failure. In the next video, we will learn how to distribute these mailboxes which we have on the default database, and we will learn how to remove the default database from the Exchange server. That's it for this video. I hope this video was informative and see you on the next one.